I am so excited that you're here. Hello, everyone. I am so excited that you're here right now. I was going to try and stream this on Instagram at the same time, but the internet connection doesn't seem to be into that idea. So if you got into the Facebook group, you're lucky because the training's only going to be in here now. So I will just give you all a moment to hop on. As you're coming in, do you maybe want to tell me where you're from? Where are you joining us from? Super excited to have you here today. I feel like it's such a typical example of trying to have a webinar or a mini course during the shadow period of Mercury retrograde. The tech has been really weird for me the past couple of days. Like Zoom calls keep dropping out, and yeah, it's just not a time. So I will just keep giving you a little bit longer to hop on. But the Facebook Live is going to work for us. I'm just manifesting. It's going to work. It's going to support us in this connection, in this container. It wants us to have this chat. So I'm super excited to be here with you. Hi. Oh my God. I love New York. It's one of my favorite places. Um, Right? Like, it's not just me. The tech has been strange for everyone that I speak to. Like, I was supposed to have a Zoom call this morning and just straight up didn't work, so we had to have it on Google Hangouts. But amazing. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and start because if people miss out, they can just watch the replay. It'll be live in the group, so amazing. I'm so excited that you guys are here. And I'm so excited to be chatting with you guys about how to get out of self sabotage and into success because this is one of the things that I really had to move through in my life. And it's made a huge difference being able to move out of that. So I'm so excited to share the process with you guys. If you don't know, I'm Kim Akrig. I'm a rapid transformational therapy coach, and I work with female entrepreneurs to unblock what's holding them back from getting the success that they want and giving them the tools they need to achieve all of their dreams through reprogramming your subconscious and working with a conscious manifestation practice. And the reason I'm here today is because everyone needs to learn how to get out of self-sabotage because we are all capable of so much and we are meant to have the success that we desire. Like, our desires are ours for a reason. And I know if you're here, you have a huge purpose, you have a calling, and sometimes we get a little bit stuck and we get in our own way because we know we want to do something, but we get held up on doing it because we don't believe in ourselves. We don't believe we're worthy of having what we want. We've absorbed messages from society or the people around us that, like, you can't have everything that you want to do. It's not okay to be rich, like, etc., etc. And this shows up in ways like we'll procrastinate, like we know what to do, but we'll just keep putting it off to the side. Or we tell ourselves that we just need to learn something new when we actually already know a lot. And that's kind of like another way of procrastinating because we just feel like we're not qualified. We feel like we're an imposter, we feel like we're a fraud, or maybe we're just scared to tell people about what we're doing because we're scared of the judgment, we're scared of what people are gonna say. So let me know in the chat if that's you. You can just send me a couple emojis. I know that I'm not alone in dealing with this, so yeah, I would love to hear if this is something you struggle with as well. So today I'm going to help you understand how you can really get out of that self-sabotage, how you can unblock yourself, how you can raise your self-worth, and how to just basically get out of your own way and just creating the success that you want for yourself. Because I know if you're here, you have a huge purpose, you have a gift to share with the world. We are all born with an incredible tool between our ears. It's our mind. But the thing is, we're not taught on how to use it. And like, we go to school and all they teach us is like how to memorize things that don't even really seem relevant to us anymore. We're never taught how to use our minds. And when you start working with this tool, it absolutely changes everything. And so today you're going to walk away with all my top tips on learning how to uncover what your limiting beliefs are and how you can start working with the power of your subconscious mind, because your subconscious is actually where everything comes from. This is where we manifest from. It's like 95% of our behavior comes from our subconscious mind and 5% comes from your conscious mind. So when we really start to unblock this and dig into that, we really start to understand like how to make those changes. It's why like so many women come to me and they're like, I've tried everything when it comes to manifesting. I'm focusing on it, I'm journaling, I'm writing my affirmations, and it's just not working for me. And the reason this is because in your subconscious, you have some kind of a block, and we can't easily access our subconscious from our thinking mind. So that's why we don't know really what's going on in there. So that's why I'm going to teach you also a little bit about my manifestation process, which is really rooted in neuroscience and psychology. So if you're new to the process, or you maybe just want like a little bit more proof of like how manifesting works, I'm going to give you that today, and I'm super excited about it. So we're going to get started. So the other day, I was having a conversation with my boyfriend about his fear of public speaking and how the idea of just like standing in front of a bunch of people actually just fills him with dread. He can't imagine the idea of doing it. Like, he's fine with talking to one person, but like in front of a crowd, he just doesn't want to do it. And he's so not alone in that. Like, fear of public speaking is like, I think it's like the number one fear of people over dying. People would rather be like the person in the coffin at a funeral than the person who has to give the eulogy, which is pretty funny, I think, but also just shows us, because like fear of public speaking is really just a fear of rejection. And for a lot of us, that one starts really early on. And I used to be the same. Like in high school, if we ever had to present in front of a class, I would just like blank the whole thing out and just have like be in massive panic mode. And I was able to get out of that. And the way I was able to do it was by working with the power of my subconscious mind. I was able to hypnotize myself into being okay with public speaking. And now it doesn't even bother me. So it's really when you start working with the power of your subconscious mind, it's like that's what it gets to be like. The things that were so impossible for you to imagine doing, they just become easy and you don't think about it anymore. And like, I really want to show you guys that like I'm not different than anyone else here. I'm not different than anyone else in the sense that like I didn't start my life out having super high self-esteem and confidence, or like tons of money, or like rich parents. Like, I didn't have any of that stuff. I started out like really struggling with my mental health growing up. Like, I had depression, I had anxiety, I had an eating disorder, I had substance abuse issues, and it all stemmed from like the negative messages that I had absorbed in my childhood around like my worth and who I was. And so that's why I really want to show you, like, it doesn't matter where you're starting out. It doesn't matter how you feel about yourself right now. You can absolutely change that. And so like, if I can go from the point of like not even being able to go to a party because I had such low self-esteem and like social anxiety, like I wouldn't be able to go to a party without drinking because I was that nervous. If I can go from being that person to like running a thriving business, moving from like Canada to Australia, creating the life of my dreams, like I want to show you it's possible for you as well. Like, I absolutely know that anyone can do this. You just need to start learning to work with the power of your subconscious mind. And a lot of coaching practices and a lot of courses, they talk about like uncovering your limiting beliefs, or like shifting your mindset, doing affirmations, doing journaling, and all of those tools are incredible, but they're still just working with your conscious mind. They're working with the part of your mind that you can access like while you're awake and while you're thinking about things. And that's not where those deep beliefs are stored. You can't really get to them by just thinking about them. That behavior really comes from your subconscious. And so when you start to affect things on a subconscious level, that's when you start to see the lasting change in results. And it's a lot easier to change things there, because when you change them in there, it's like you change the projection, like the frequency almost that you are projecting out into the world, because our whole reality is really just a projection of what we believe it to be. It's different for everyone. And so when I did the work to reprogram my subconscious around like my lack of confidence, my like lack of self-worth, my money blocks, my life is completely different because of that. Like I set myself goals and then I like achieve them. I manifest things really easily. Like I manifest money really easily. I feel worthy of everything that I desire. And like the key, the root to it is just to start unlocking the beliefs that were holding me back. And when I started to work with my subconscious, it worked so quickly for me. I couldn't believe that it was going to be this easy. Like I spent years in therapy and I didn't get to the point of understanding what I believed until like I really started working with my subconscious. So I'm going to share all of that with you today because I just want to remind you like I'm not like special or different or unique. I'm exactly the same as you. And so I know if I can create these results for myself, like you can as well. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So the first thing that is not the most important thing, but it's like really crucial is knowing how to manifest. And when I say manifest, some people think it has like kind of a weird woo-woo connotation to it. But when I say manifest, I just want you to like understand that I just mean like whatever you're creating to be real for yourself. Like it's not like anything. It's like we're always creating all the time. Like I hear people say like, oh, I manifested this or I just manifested something. And it's like, no, technically you're manifesting things all the time. Whether you're doing it consciously or not consciously is the difference. And so if you want to intentionally create a life that you absolutely love, it starts with having a vision for what you want it to look like. Like you imagine if you got in the car with your girlfriends and you were going on a road trip and you had a GPS, but instead of putting in the details for the GPS, you were like, let's just drive and see where we end up. And you might get somewhere interesting or you might go to a dead end. And that's because you don't have the clarity of where you want to go. You haven't told it, this is where I want to get to. And so that's why when you're not manifesting on purpose, we kind of just end up with whatever we're kind of believing that we're worthy of. And so that's why it's so important when we're manifesting and creating our reality that we decide what we want and we decide where we want to go, because you're always going to get what you focus on. So you need to focus on what's important for you. And so with my clients, I always tell them to make your vision for something that's feasible in the next 3 to 6 months, like is kind of realistic for you to get in the next 3 to 6 months, because it's a lot easier than being like, oh, I want to go from like zero to like making 100K in like 2 weeks. Like you're straight away going to almost shut yourself down because it seems so unrealistic. But when you can set yourself like realistic goals for the next 3 to 6 months, then you have a lot more success because you can break down your big goals into smaller goals and you almost reverse engineer it. So like if you had that goal of making 100K a year, before that, it's like, okay, well, how much would you have to be making a month? And then like, can you focus on like, how can I get to making that month? What do I need to be doing to get to that month that's going to add up to me making 100K a year? And because it seems more realistic, your brain is able to kind of like take it on and be like, okay, that's possible. I could see how that could happen. Because you really almost have to see to believe it. Like you have to be showing your subconscious in a way that's like, okay, I get this. This is realistic for like something to happen to you. And after that, my manifestation process is really simple because people make it out like it has to be really complicated or like you always have to feel happy, but that's not really the thing. It's like you have to choose your goal because your brain is like a heat-seeking missile. It just wants to go to whatever you're focusing on. So you decide what you want, and then you have to kind of figure out how would it make you feel to have that thing, because the only reason you really want to manifest something is because of the feeling that you think it's going to give you. So when you can kind of boil it down into those feelings and be like, okay, well, how can I start feeling those feelings now? Like say you want to be in like a relationship and you're like, okay, well, how can I start feeling the feelings of being in love now? And then after that, you really want to focus on like, what's the version of you that has that thing? Like, what does she believe? What is she doing every day? How is she showing up? Because the version of you that has the thing is going to be different than the version of you right now. So it's like you really have to become that thing. You have to start embodying it before you get it. You have to really infuse yourself with everything that that version of you has, because then that's what's going to make it show up in your reality. And then also, the reason that it's so important to be focusing on what you want is because we have what's called in your brain the reticular activating system. And so that's basically trained to show us like what we've decided is important to us. It's like the same way where like if someone tells you they want a pug, then you start seeing pugs everywhere because they're kind of like in your mind and you're kind of like almost training your brain to notice it. So this is really amazing when we're working on our goals because we tell our brain like, okay, I want to have an 8K month, and your brain starts looking for ways to make that happen for you. So that's why it's like it works just as well the opposite way, because if you're always focusing on what you don't want, then your mind is just bringing you more and more in that. Your mind is like, your subconscious mind is picking up 2 million bits of data every second. But your conscious mind can only process 126 bits of that data, because if you were to notice everything going on in your environment, you would be overwhelmed. It would be like you would be noticing the feeling of you sitting on your chair. You would be noticing like your eyelashes growing. Like it would just be overwhelming. And so that's why your brain does this to you. But it's like the same way where you can say, for example, if you look around your room and then I tell you I want you to notice everything that's blue, and then you close your eyes and try and imagine everything that was red, you're not going to know because you were telling your brain to look for what was blue. And it's the same as you kind of go about your day trying to manifest things. It's like you have to be showing your brain, this is what's important to me, this is what I want to focus on, this is what I want to believe in. So, sorry, I was just checking my notes. Yeah, that's how I manifest. And let me know if you have any questions on that. If not, I will take you to the next point that's just as important as like the process. But then we're going to talk about how to unblock your limiting beliefs. So I'll just take a moment to see if anyone has any questions. All right. So once we've decided what we want to manifest. We have figured out how we're going to feel when we have it. We have maybe done some journaling on like who's the version of ourselves that has that thing. And then you've got all that. Oh yeah, you guys are liking it. Amazing. And then the thing is sometimes people are like, I've been trying to manifest this thing forever. Why is it not showing up? And so the reason that this is going on is because you have some kind of limiting belief that's going on around this. And a lot of coaches and a lot of programs focus on trying to uncover what your limiting beliefs are, but they're trying to do it from a conscious point of view. And this is kind of what I was saying before. But when you're doing it from your conscious mind, it's like, it's not going to get you to that deep root cause of what was going on. And you can talk about something for, like in therapy, you talk about something for 10 years and it still hasn't changed because you're just talking about it on a conscious level. And change is not really deeply affected on a conscious level. It's like how I was saying before, 95% of your behavior, it comes from your subconscious. So that's why we need to go into your subconscious to find out why you're blocking yourself. And when I work with my clients on finding out where they're blocked in their subconscious, a lot of the time we're really surprised by what comes out because it's not what you think it's going to be. So basically, between the ages of 0 to 7, roughly 14, your conscious mind isn't fully developed before you're 7 years old. So what this means for you is you're basically in a hypnotic brain state all the time. And when I say hypnotic brain state, I mean you're just in like a highly suggestible state. It's like whatever programming is coming into your mind isn't sitting there being like sorting it out, being like, yes, I think that's true. No, I don't think that's true. It's just downloading everything about the world around you. It's like how like little kids ask you a question and you could be like, you could make up something totally not true and they'd just be like, oh, okay, because they don't have that conscious part of their mind to be like, I don't know if I believe that. So that's why like 2-year-olds will just like jump off of the playground without even thinking about it because they don't have like that conscious part fully developed that helps them make those decisions. And so when you're little, you're downloading everything about how to be a human from the world around you. And this really makes sense from an evolutionary perspective, because you can imagine your parents had to tell you every single thing to do or not do about being a human. That would take forever. So that's why it's really like helpful for us to be like being programmed by what we see around us, because then you model the behavior of the people around you, and that kind of determines the basis for your thoughts about like what you believe about yourself, what you believe is possible, what you think, for example, are your money stories. And then it starts to affect you when you grow up and be an adult, and you don't always understand why, because it's like that computer programming, like it's literally been programmed into you. Yay, I'm so happy this is making sense to you guys. And so when it's like programmed into you, and it's like, how many of you can remember everything that happened to you before you were 7? Probably not. And also when you're a child and you're looking at it through a child's perspective, children always think everything is about them. So say, for example, your mom was just like really absent, like she was always working, she had 2 jobs, she was just trying to keep the family going. Maybe your dad wasn't in the picture. And so what the little 2-year-old version of you starts to believe is, they're like, mom's not there for me, I can't rely on people to be there for me, that must mean that I'm not enough. Or if your dad's not there, you're probably like, okay, dad's not here, that must mean that he didn't love me, that must mean that I'm not lovable. Because that's how like children think. They think it's about them. And so you really, that, and like you see how upset children get when you like take away a toy. They don't understand that it's something that's just happening in the moment, because for them that's their whole world. And so if you can see and imagine how upset they get about it, and then know that those feelings and those thoughts are getting locked in your subconscious until you start to change them as an adult. And for most of us, one of the really big things is like, no matter how good a job our parents did, usually things happen where on some level we start to believe that we're not enough, or like we tried something and someone laughed at us, and that's why we don't trust ourselves to ever do anything again now as an adult. But you don't remember that stuff on a conscious level. It's just locked in there. And if you remember what I said about 95% of your behavior coming from your subconscious, this is why we're acting out those patterns now as an adult, and we don't understand why. This is the stuff that holds us back from going after our dreams, but we can't figure out why we're doing it, because it is locked in our subconscious. And it's really incredible how strong this is, because I've had clients who like, they were experiencing like depression, or like feeling like they weren't good enough, and they regressed back to being in the womb when their mom was pregnant with them, and hearing their parents say things like, we're not ready to be parents, maybe this isn't a good time. And that little baby that's growing in the womb, it's like, oh, maybe I made a mistake, they don't want me, like this isn't a good time to show up, like why am I here? And then as an adult in her late 20s, she's like, I feel like I don't understand why I'm here, I can't understand my purpose. And so it's like, you really see how that projection just keeps going and going and going until you do something to consciously change it. So that's why it's so important to do this work on a subconscious level. And I know a lot of people, when they think of hypnosis, they think of some guy who's like gonna get you up on stage and he's gonna make you like dance around like a chicken, but that's not what hypnosis is. Like, I'm gonna ruin this totally for you if you ever see one of those shows, but hypnosis is just a highly suggestible brain state. And so if you think about like the people that volunteer for that kind of a thing, they're volunteering for it. They already kind of want to do that thing. Even if they maybe wouldn't say that, like they're choosing to go up there for a reason. It's like the reason some people love acting. They want to be a different person for whatever reason. And so it's like when those people go up there and the person gives them a suggestion, they're already primed to take that suggestion on. They're already primed to like know that they're probably going to do something silly. Which is why, like, hypnosis, yes, you can use it for that, but it also helps you get into a highly suggestible brain state. And when you're in a highly suggestible brain state, we're able to change your beliefs. And also, we're able to have, like, basically your conscious mind is asleep. You're awake. You're aware of everything that's going on. But you're, like, in a deeply meditative state where we can access your subconscious, and then we can get back to asking your subconscious those questions about, like, what is the root cause of this thing? Why do I believe this? Why is this happening in my life? And then we're able to get really clear answers, and we can see the pattern as to what they believe, and then we can change it for you. So it's like, I want you to think of it like a computer software upgrade. It's like, a belief is just a thought you keep thinking over and over again. So if you chose that belief at some point in time, you can choose a different one. And all you have to do is be able to imprint that new belief back into your mind. So let me know how that's going for you. Let me know if you have any questions. And also another thing I wanted to mention is like, we are hardwired to look for what's familiar. Our brain just seeks out what's familiar, and it wants to avoid what's unfamiliar because it thinks that like we're safer in doing what we already know. And this is why so many of us reenact patterns that are really not serving us, and we can't figure out why we keep doing this. So for example, like if we look at money, it's like maybe you're working super hard and you get some money, but then as soon as you kind of have savings, like you manifest like a huge bill, or like your car breaks down or something happens and it takes it all away. And so that means that you have a pattern around that as like, that's what's familiar to you. That's what you've seen enacted out maybe through your parents or your primary caregivers. And so then you're going to be primed to create that same pattern over and over, because on a subconscious level, that's what's familiar to you. So it's like your subconscious is just trying to do what it thinks is known and what is safe, even though it's not necessarily what we always want. And that's why we do have these blocks around like money, or maybe like dating the same unavailable person over and over, or just feeling like whatever we do, we're not enough. And that's how it really shows up for us, even though it's like, it's things that we don't think we want them, but it's not like our mind is trying to think it's a good or a bad thing. It's just always trying to create what's familiar for ourselves. Yeah, I love that. Hey, like a belief is a thought you keep thinking over and over again. It's so true. So the next step is reprogramming your subconscious. I kind of touched on this a little bit before, but I'll go over it a bit deeper now. So reprogramming your subconscious is not as hard as you think, because I think people think the key to doing it is repetition for sure. But when you're in hypnosis, you can do this a lot easier. And so the way that I like to do it is like through a process called RTT, which is rapid transformational therapy. So basically what we do in rapid transformational therapy is we regress you back to 3 scenes that are the root cause, the reason of whatever's going on for you. And then you're able to kind of like be the detective and see yourself like, okay, there's these 3 scenes. This is what happened. This is the meaning I created out of it. And you're able to almost be like a detective and see what's the belief or the thought that your subconscious mind has come up with, and how is that operating in your life now. And then we can change it so that we can rewire the meaning of what happened in those events. Because it's never actually what happened, it's the meaning we created out of it. So we can rewrite the meaning of what happened for you so you can see it from an adult perspective, or from like a new, fresh perspective as to how like whatever happened, it didn't mean you weren't enough. It didn't mean this about money, and etc., etc. And then we imprint you with new positive beliefs through a recording that you listen to for 21 days. And the reason we're able to do this is because we have what's called neuroplasticity. It means that our brain is never finished like forming itself. It has neuroplasticity. It means that you can change things, you can form new neural pathways, you're able to learn new things. And the way that it does this is through repetition. And it's really so incredible that we're able to do this, because for a long time I think people thought it was like you became an adult, that was it, that was your personality, you couldn't change it. But we now know through all the research that we've done that that's actually not true. You are always able to be forming those new neural pathways, and the more you work on this, like the easier it kind of becomes for you. A way that I really like to think of it is like, if you imagine you're at the top of a mountain and there's like all the fresh powder over on one side, and then there's like a track where like lots of people have gone down the same way. And so the way that everyone else has gone down, that's like a neural pathway that has been really well worn. It's like something happens and you have a belief system, and that just goes down that same pathway because it's easier. It's already been done before. People keep going over and over it. And then if you want to form a new one, it's like going down that fresh track where it's like fresh powder. It might be a little bit harder because no one's been there before, but you can still wear it down in that same way as you could the first one that was firing the other way. And so if you find you take your thought pattern down a new track, it kind of, that starts to be the more predominant one, and the other one starts to fill up with snow as it keeps snowing, if we're going to use our mountain analogy. And then, so that's why we always tell people, when you're listening to like a hypnotic recording, you have to do it for 21 days minimum, because 21 days is the minimum amount of time it takes to integrate those new beliefs. They say between 21 to like 63 days, but 21 is the minimum. And either first thing in the morning, right when you wake up, or right before you go to sleep, is a really powerful time to prime your subconscious. And so that's why, even knowing that, I really want you to pay attention to like, what are the thoughts you're thinking when you first wake up in the morning, and can you be intentional about choosing them to really set yourself up for the best day possible. And also, right before you go to sleep, it's really powerful to even just recite your affirmations to yourself, or to be visualizing the life that you want, because this is really what's going to imprint it into your subconscious. Other ways that I like to work with sort of conscious integration of your new beliefs is, I do like to write affirmations for myself on note cards and like put them above my desk or like on my mirror, because your subconscious is always picking up everything in your environment. Like I was saying to you before, it's absorbing 2 million bits of data a second. So even if you're not consciously registering the fact that these affirmations are written there, it's still going into your brain. So it's just able to help you take it to another level of showing yourself what you are choosing to believe, and just really getting that repetition in. Another way that you can sort of consciously integrate this is through doing EFT or tapping. I don't know if you've tried this, but basically it works by tapping on like the acupressure points on your body. And when you do that, you're able to clear out stagnant energy or things that have been blocked there. And it's really helpful if you have a trigger come up and you can tap on how you feel, because you don't want to resist your feelings. They're coming up for a reason. So when you can tap on that, I'm not really going to go too much into it here just for the sake of time, but I just want to make you aware of all the tools that we do have. If you want to explore tapping more, you can go on YouTube. But yeah, so sometimes I like to just tap in my conscious beliefs. I'll just take all my affirmations, and then the points that you tap on are like the top of your head, the front of your eyebrow, the sides of your eyebrows, under your eyes, under your nose, under your like lip, above your chin, on your collarbone, and then just under your arm. And you're just kind of tapping on them like that. And you just do it while saying whatever you want to choose to believe. It's just like a way of helping like integrate those new beliefs into who you are. And then also, when it comes to manifesting successfully or effectively, I guess, raising your self-worth is the most important thing, because the reason that you're able to like call in what you want is because you believe and feel like you're deserving and worthy of having the thing. Like, I don't know if you've noticed this, but some things come really easy to you, like you think about it and then it just shows up for you. And then other areas it can be way harder. Like, say for example, you're really good at getting ahead in your career, but you really struggle with dating, or like you just keep dating guys who aren't available. And that's because in your career area, you have high self-worth. You feel worthy and deserving of like getting what you want. But maybe in relationships, you don't feel worthy and you don't feel deserving. So that's why you're not manifesting things easily in those areas. And so this is something that you're able to work on. You're able to change it. It's like I was telling you before with like RTT and like understanding where that self-worth issue came from and how can you reinterpret what happened and work on your self-worth on a subconscious level is really going to be a huge thing when it comes to changing how you manifest things. Because when you feel deeply worthy and deserving of something, everything you want is just magnetized to you. You don't have to like be hustling and struggling and striving. I'm not saying you don't need to take action, but the action you take will just be a lot more effective because you believe and feel like you're deeply worthy of having the thing. And when you're deeply worthy and you know that, you're able to just take action in such a massive way because you know that the thing is meant for you. And that's the thing that changes everything. Like, if I could encourage you to just work on one thing, it would be like raising your self-worth, because that is really the piece that changes everything. And it's also something that, like, I know this because I struggled with it for so long. Like, I dated shitty guys for so long and I treated myself so badly for so long because I was raised in an environment where I wasn't shown how to love myself. I never felt like I was enough. And that was because, like, my parents never felt that way either. And, like, they weren't treated in a way that was showing them how to value and, like, love themselves. So it just kept getting passed on. But when I did do the work to change it, that's when everything really opened up. And so that's why I'm so passionate with, like, sharing this about people, because I know how different it can be once you really change it. The last thing I wanted to touch on is upleveling your money story. And so, when working with clients on upleveling their money story, it's one of my absolute favorite things to do, because when you find out where your money stories are coming from or why you're feeling blocked, then you're able to see changes in the most incredible ways when you just unblock those things. Like, I did a money session with one client, and a month later, I was checking in with her and I was like, "How are you doing?" And she's like, "I literally doubled my income from last month." And I loved her story so much because when we went back and regressed her to why she was struggling around money, we went back to some things that she normally, like, that happened as a kid, which is kind of normal. But then she also went back to a past life. And I don't know if you believe in past lives, or even if you don't, and even like you think sometimes your subconscious speaks in metaphors, it doesn't really matter, because what happened in the past life is that she was a homeless man and she felt like she had to keep working and hustling to make sure that she got food and she didn't starve. And that was kind of the energy that she had taken into this life, where she was feeling like she, no matter how hard she worked, even if she was seeing success, she felt like she had to keep going. She felt like she couldn't stop. She felt like it was unsafe for her to, like, stop working. And when she changed that, it was like she was able to make peace with the fact that the man was scared that he was going to die if he stopped hustling like that. But she was able to, like, reconcile it within herself and be like, "Look, even if you die, nothing bad happens to you." She's like, "It's just a next stage of life. There's nothing to be afraid of." And when she kind of reprogrammed that in herself, it was like, well, she literally doubled her income. And also, there was some stuff that came up around feeling like worthy of having that amount of income too. But when we unblocked those things, that's when the money came through. And she was working like less than she had been before. And so that's why I think it's so crucial to understand where your money stories are coming from. What are the things you heard about money growing up? Is it affecting you now? Some of the ways you can start to dive into this are like looking at your primary caregiver that is the same gender as you. So if you're a woman, look at your mom and look at how she handled money. What's her story around it? Is she telling you that she had to work really hard? Is she telling you that she had to rely on a man for money? Like, look at that and see, is there any similarities or parallels that you've picked up in the ways that you handle money? Or people sometimes completely go the opposite direction because they see their parents doing something and they decide that they don't want to do that, so they consciously end up going the other way. And one of my favorite sayings is that, like, your self-worth equals your net worth, because it's really true. Because when you believe what you have to offer is valuable and that you're able to get paid for it, and you have that expectation, and on a subconscious level you're able to call it in, that's when you really do start to manifest in more money. Like, money is just energy. It's responding to who you're being. It's not, and like, when you start being the person that knows that they're worthy of having the amount of money that they want, that's when it changes everything. So that's why it's so important to be able to go into your subconscious, find out what these patterns are, and then to start rewiring them. Because, like, this work isn't hard. I think people don't realize it because they haven't heard about it or they don't know how to do it. But I think if everyone knew how to do this, it would completely change everything. It's so much faster than spending years thinking, like, if you just worked harder, then you could work your way through this issue, because the actual working on it is not the actual issue. It's like working with your subconscious is the thing, figuring out what your subconscious beliefs are. Your subconscious is never going to make you a liar. So whatever you believe, that's what's going to be showing up. And so with money, I think a lot of people get the story that, like, oh, like, if you're rich, then, like, rich people are evil or whatever. So if that's the subconscious belief you have, then your subconscious will be blocking you from getting rich because you're like, well, I don't want to be evil because if I'm evil, then I'll be rejected. And if I'm rejected, I will be like thrown out of the tribe and I won't survive. So then it makes it so that you're struggling to make money. So let me know if you have any questions on money reprogramming. And if not, we will keep going. Let me know how this is landing for you. If you have any questions. Also, I forgot to say this at the start of the live stream, but as a thank you for showing up, I am going to be sending everyone a free gift. So if you're here, like, say hello in the comments, like let me know you're here, because that way I'll be able to reach out to you and send you your gift afterwards. And I'm super excited for you to get it. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Just like write an emoji or whatever, and I will find you afterwards and I will send it through to you. All right. So if nobody has any questions, this is why, like, I think it's so powerful when you combine coaching with subconscious work, because it's incredibly powerful and transformative. And because we don't want to spend hours journaling trying to figure out why we are the way we are. Like, I love journaling, but sometimes you get to a point where you're like, okay, enough is enough. And that's why we can literally just go right in and find out where it started and pluck out that belief and put in your new beliefs. And I know it sounds super simple, and that's the thing, is like, it doesn't have to be hard and it doesn't have to be complicated. I think sometimes people think that changing yourself has to be like this huge arduous task, or they're like scared of what they're going to discover, and it doesn't have to be this way. It really, change can happen so quickly. You just need to know how to do it. Like, it doesn't take years of therapy. You can change these things so fast. Like, I've seen it in myself. I've seen it in my clients. Like, I am not the person I was like even a year ago because of all the work that I've started to do with my subconscious work. So I just wanted to check in with you and see how you're feeling in your gut. Like, are you thinking like, yes, this is something I really need, this is the piece that's been missing? Or maybe you're thinking that you're like a little bit scared because you're scared to go in there and find out what has been holding you back. But oh, amazing. Okay, sounds good. I will send it to you. And so, like, I really want you to check in with yourself and be like, is this something I feel like I need to work on? And we can talk about if you are a fit for the program that I'm going to be telling you about in a couple of seconds. But you basically just heard all about it in everything that I was just telling you. And a lot of people get on these trainings and they get super fired up and they're super excited and they like take all their notes, but then when the training is over, they go away and they start getting in their head about it. They start second guessing themselves and they go back to old habits, which is really just your brain trying to keep you in the same place because it wants to keep you as what's familiar. And it doesn't want you to do things that are different or new because it sees it as a threat. And your mind is always trying to get you away from pain and is to seek out pleasure. And so that's why it's so easy to get into that trap of like being in the same place and a year later and everything is exactly the same as it was before. And I really don't want that for you, because when you start doing this work, it's incredible the shifts that are going to happen, and they can happen so quickly. And I know this because I've seen it in myself. I've seen it in my clients. This is totally a side note, but the whole reason I ended up in Australia was like almost 8 years ago now. I photographed a wedding for a couple of my clients who were Kiwis, and they lived in New Zealand, and that's where they were getting married. No, they lived in Vancouver. And so they flew me to New Zealand for the wedding. And I photographed their wedding, and I accidentally stopped in Australia along the way, and then I just ended up moving here. And like, as a funny roundabout story, she actually found my YouTube channel and she reached out and was like, I really want to do an RTT session. Like, I've been dealing with like XYZ in my business. But like, even she was like, oh my God, your energy is so different. Like, there's something so different about you. Like, And it's so true. Like when I started doing this work on myself, that's what people kept telling me. They were like, you're actually different. Like, so when you start to do this work, it really is so incredible, the shifts and the changes that happen. And I really, really want that for you as well. I want you to break the habits that are keeping you from having the momentum. And the way you do this is by taking action now, even when it's scary. And like, I know it's scary to invest in yourself, and I'm always scared when I invest in myself as well. But that's a good thing because it means you're doing something unfamiliar. And if it was familiar to you and it was working, you would already have what you wanted. But if you're here and whatever you're doing isn't working, it's time to break this cycle and like, time to make a change. And I'm going to show you exactly how I do that in my program. And like, having this information alone, like, information is so powerful, but it's not going to save you because knowledge is power, but like, knowledge without action is useless. Like, information alone is not going to save you. You need someone to go through it with you. Like, you can't really do this work on your own. And so this is really going to give you the tools to get those results. And my program is called 90-Day Alignment Accelerator because it really is going to give you those tools to get into alignment and to really like just supercharge the speed at which you start manifesting everything you want. It's going to get you on the path to like raising your self-worth, to improving your confidence. It's going to help you manifest more money. So it's like, you spend a little bit of money, but then you're going to have even more money because of it. So inside the 90-Day Alignment Accelerator, what we're going to do is we move through 3 RTT sessions, not one, but like 3. And like, one alone is super powerful, but when you do 3, it like takes you into, like, you quantum leap into another stratosphere. Like, you just jump into being your highest self, and like, it's going to get you feeling confident. You're going to manifest more money. And I'm also going to give you the support and the guidance with my manifestation process, which works incredibly for me, and it's based in neuroscience and psychology. Like, I love a woo-woo moment, but I'm a girl who loves to know how things work. And if you're like that too, then this is going to be perfect for you because I'm able to explain to you why things work the way that they work. And we're going to unblock you with everything that's keeping you from feeling worthy and deserving of everything that you want. And these are literally the exact steps that I went through myself to feel more confident and to be more empowered and to like run my own business of my dreams. So I'm really teaching you everything I know that worked for me to get you everything you want and to feel worthy and confident. And like, this is really the work that changes everything. Like, just as a reminder, like, I started out like really in a not great place. Like, I was depressed. It was not a good moment for me, but now things are so different, and like, this is literally the work that was able to get me there. So I just want you to check in with your gut, and like, I know you always know what's best for you. Like, I can only just tell you things, and you have to check in with yourself because you know in your heart if like this is the right program for you. And I just wanted to take a moment to talk about how, like, on trainings like this, like, 2 kinds of people will show up to the training. And there's like the person who thinks the offer is amazing and it sounds great, but they're not ready to take the action. And then the other person who understands the offer and they know that they're ready for it, and they know they're ready to change, and they know it's time to just start manifesting everything they want. And those are the people that are the perfect fit for the program, because I really want people who are seriously ready to do the work and to change. And I totally believe in the value of it, and I know it's going to change your life. So if you are ready to make that change, I just wanted to let you know that I do have 3 spots open at beta pricing, which is only $14.97. So the universe rewards the people who take action first. So for the first 3 people, it's going to be $14.97, and after that, it's going up. So yeah, if you know it's for you, definitely send me a DM, reach out on Instagram, send me a Facebook message. Like, let's chat about how we can just completely change your whole life. And I just wanted to also take a moment to tell you, like, I believe in you so much. It's so incredible that you showed up to this training, and I believe in your highest potential, and I wouldn't be a coach if I didn't believe that we are all capable of doing anything. Like, the only thing that is holding you back from what you want is what you believe about yourself. And I know 100% for a fact that like any thoughts that you've ever had about yourself that you're not enough, you're not worthy. I just completely know it's not true. And I know that you're so massively worthy of all the success that you desire. And I really want to be that person that like helps you and supports you and guides you through everything that you're going through. I want to be your biggest cheerleader. I want to be there for you for like your hard moments and for your breakthrough moments. I really want to celebrate that stuff with you. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me today. I'm so excited to send you the free gift. It's going to be amazing. I'm super excited for it. And yeah, just one more time, if you feel like this program is right for you, like send me a message and we can have a chat. There is payment plans available. You can get started for $255, which is incredible because that's what I normally charge for like one session. So you're going to be getting like way more than that. So yeah, book a call. I'm super excited to chat with you. And thank you so much again for being here. I'll just take a quick moment to see, do you guys have any questions on anything that I mentioned? I'll just stay on for a little bit longer just to answer any of those for you about anything that I talked about. It could be about manifestation, it could be about RTT, it could be about unblocking yourself. If you're in Australia, it's in Australian dollars, but if you're overseas, then I charge USD just because it seemed fair that way. Thank you for coming. It was so nice to get to hang out with you guys. Do I have? Yes, I can put the link of it for you now. Here is the link to the program page if you want to read more details about it. Or I'll also just put the link to my calendar as well if you wanted to hop on like just a quick like 15-minute call where it'll be super casual. I'm not gonna like pitch you on anything. We can just have a chat and see. Okay, if you're Canadian, I can charge you in Canadian as well. I'm easy. I feel like it's fair to charge people in their currency. So I put the link to my scheduling calendar there if you just wanted to have a chat, and we can just chat to see if we feel like you're a fit for the program. I don't want you to get scared that it's going to be like an icky sales call where I'm going to try and like sell you into something, because that's not my style. I truly believe that your intuition knows if something's a fit for you or not. So it'll just be more like a chat where we can talk and you can ask me any questions. I'm always down to talk to you guys. I love chatting with you. So yeah, feel free to book in a call if you want to talk to me more about it, or even just doing an RTT session. Thank you for coming. It was such a pleasure to have you here. All right. So if nobody has any other questions, I'm gonna hop off. And if you're watching the live, yeah, feel free to send me a DM if you have any questions. All right, well, I'm gonna hop off now, but I will send you a message individually with your free gift, and I'm super excited for you to get your hands on it. And I hope you guys have an incredible day. Bye for now.